Against all odds, 5 incredible last-second survival stories. Imagine you're sitting in a plane at 41,000 feet when both engines suddenly go completely silent. No power, no fuel, just you and 68 other souls in a 132-ton metal coffin falling from the sky. This isn't a nightmare. This actually happened to every passenger on Air Canada Flight 143. And what occurred next defies every law of physics and probability. But wait, if you think that's impossible, in just a moment, you'll hear how someone survived falling from a plane without a parachute. These are 5 real survival stories, so incredible, they'll make you question everything you thought you knew about the limits of human survival. Every year, thousands face impossible life-or-death situations. Today, you'll witness 5 cases where split-second decisions and sheer luck created miracles that shouldn't exist. Story 1. The Gimli Glider. July 23, 1983. Captain Bob Pearson felt his stomach drop as the Boeing 767's second engine died. At 28,000 feet over Canada, his massive jet had just become the world's worst glider. A metric conversion error meant they had half the fuel they thought. Now, Pearson's hands trembled on the controls as he realized the terrifying truth: they had maybe 15 minutes before 69 people would slam into the ground. First Officer Maurice Quintal's voice cracked over the intercom. "We're not going to make Winnipeg." The hydraulics were failing. The instruments went dark one by one. Pearson later said, "I felt my throat close up. This was it. This was how we were going to die."
Then, Quintal remembered something: Gimli, an abandoned airbase. But as they approached, Pearson's blood ran cold. The runway was now a drag strip packed with racing fans. Using only gravity and raw instinct, he threw the massive plane into a side slip, essentially flying sideways. Race organizers looked up to see a silent 767 dropping from the sky like a brick. Pearson slammed the plane onto the runway, stopping mere feet from frozen spectators. Not one death. The Gimli Glider proved that when technology fails, human instinct can achieve the impossible. Sometimes your only fuel is determination. But if landing a plane without engines sounds impossible, wait until you hear what happened to someone who fell from one without a parachute.
Story 2. The Impossible Fall. Here's a fact that'll chill you. Terminal velocity for a human is 120 miles per hour. At that speed, your body becomes a missile. So when a skydiving instructor's parachute failed at 15,000 feet, everyone knew the outcome. The main chute tangled. The reserve wrapped around it. The instructor, strapped to his terrified student, watched the ground rushing up. "I remember thinking about my daughter," he later said, "how she'd grow up without a father. You can't survive terminal velocity. It's physics." They had 60 seconds, then 30, then 10. Below them, a film crew had assembled massive cardboard boxes for a car commercial. 100 feet by 100 feet, 20 feet high. The instructor made a desperate choice. He twisted his body, using himself as a human shield for his passenger, and aimed for those boxes. They hit at full speed. The instructor shattered his pelvis, broke his back in 3 places, but lived. His passenger walked away with bruises. Doctors called it medically impossible. This case rewrote survival manuals. Sometimes, one decision in your final second can beat certain death. Speaking of impossible survival, do you believe a 12-year-old could survive 11 days in a forest full of bears? Let me know in the comments if you think this next story is even possible. Story 3. Lost in the Siberian Wilderness. The moment 12-year-old Karina Chikitova realized she was lost in the Siberian taiga, she did something that would save her life. She didn't panic. The vastness hit her like a physical blow. Trees in every direction. Bears had been spotted just days before. Wolves howled at night. The temperature plummeted. No food, no shelter, no hope. Search coordinator Viktor Belyaev later admitted, "After day 3, we were looking for remains. The taiga doesn't forgive. It especially doesn't spare children." By day 5, even Karina's mother had given up hope. But Karina remembered her grandmother making tea from berries. She found a stream and drank. She made beds from grass. When her puppy finally left her on day 9, she didn't cry. She knew it might bring help. For 11 days, this child did what trained survivalists failed to do. When rescuers found her, Karina was 20 pounds lighter but alert. She'd survived longer in the wild than most adults could. Her secret? "I just wanted to see my mom again." Sometimes survival isn't about skills, it's about having someone to survive for. But if surviving the wilderness seems tough, imagine being trapped under ice in the world's deepest lake.
Story 4. Trapped under ice. Lake Baikal kills in minutes. So when 2 Russian fishermen plunged through thin ice into its black depths, they had 3 minutes to live. What happened next lasted 2 hours. The current slammed them under solid ice. Complete darkness. Viktor Volkov felt his lungs screaming for air. It's not like in movies. Your body betrays you. Every instinct screams to breathe, but you know one breath means death. The cold was so intense, it felt like being crushed.
Volkov's hand found something impossible, an air pocket no bigger than a basketball. They pressed their faces into it, sharing the precious oxygen. For 2 hours, they took turns breathing while their bodies shut down. Above, rescuers followed their trail, cutting frantically through 3 feet of ice. When pulled out, both men's core temperatures were so low they shouldn't have been conscious. Yet, they were. Doctors studied their case for years. The lesson? Sometimes survival means finding that tiny pocket of hope and holding on, even when everything else has failed. Now, can a human survive a 30-story fall? This final story will leave you speechless.
Story 5. The 30-Story Miracle. Wang Lin was installing windows on Shanghai's newest skyscraper when his safety harness snapped. 30 floors, 300 feet, 9 seconds to impact. At that height, you reach 95 miles per hour. The human body breaks apart. Wang saw his life flash, his wife, his newborn son. "I remember thinking, they'll never find all of me." Workers on nearby buildings watched in horror. By pure chance, construction crews had piled sawdust and wood shavings 15 feet high at the base. Wang hit it like a meteor, creating an explosion visible 3 blocks away. 18 broken bones, punctured lung, ruptured spleen, but alive. Engineers calculated the sawdust extended his deceleration by 0.3 seconds, just enough. Sometimes survival is measured in milliseconds, and miracles.
These 5 stories share one truth. We're all 1 second away from the impossible. Each survivor faced certain death. Each found a way through skill, luck, or sheer will. What can you take from this? First, never give up. Your mind is your greatest survival tool. Second, if you travel or work in dangerous conditions, learn basic survival skills. A few simple techniques could save your life. But most importantly, remember this. Somewhere right now, someone is facing impossible odds. And they're about to prove that impossible is just a word. Which story shocked you most? Comment below. I read everything. If this video blew your mind, smash that like button and subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss our next survival story. And here's a question for you. What would you like to see next?
People who survived being buried alive, or those who escaped from natural disasters? Let me know in the comments.